Nottingham Forest experienced a setback in their quest for Champions League qualification next season as they lost at home to Everton, a regenerated Everton under David Moyes, who came back and revamped the entire team. And believe you me, these guys are getting positive results. I said it on this show before that Everton were there, down there. A lot of people were beginning to have the conversation of if they are indeed going to go down there in the Championship or they are going to fight their way out. And since David Moyes took over, they are now comfortably sitting on the table, making sure that they don't fight to escape relegation. They played away to Nottingham Forest. It was a difficult game. However, Everton dominated the game, the first half, the second half, and they got 3 points, to make sure that they wanted more and to get a positive result for their effort. Nottingham Forest, however, experienced this setback because they were not in their best form, if I can say that, because playing against an Everton side, everybody would have expected them to get a positive result at home because they've been getting positive results against big teams. However, on this given day, it wasn't meant to be, as they lost at home, although they're still there in the top four, but Champions League qualification is going to be very tight because you have the likes of Newcastle United, Manchester City, and Chelsea breathing down their neck. So I hope they are going to make sure that they pick themselves up and get positive results moving forward. In another English Premier League, there took place on Saturday was a game of Manchester City, the reigning champions, against Crystal Palace. They played this game at Manchester City Etihad Stadium, and Crystal Palace surprised a lot of people by taking the lead in the first half through that man Eberechi Eze took the lead, and then Richard also scored. Kevin De Bruyne ensured to pull a goal back for Manchester City, and a goal from Mamouche make sure that they went into the second half 2-2. They came back to the second half, and goals from Kovacic, Makati. They ensured that Manchester City got a positive result at home and 3 points as they also continue to play to qualify for the Champions League comes next season. They won that game 5-2. In another game in the English Premier League is a match that a lot of people, I think for me, it was a surprise match of the week because the Brighton played at home against Leicester City. And Leicester City sitting in the bottom three of the league. Everyone is obvious that they're going to go down there again in the Championship. However, playing against the Brighton side that are giant killers, they make sure they get positive result against the big teams. However, managing a 2-2 against the Leicester City side was a surprise because on paper, everybody expected them to get 3 points against Leicester City. So, however, they were only able to manage a 2-2 draw against Leicester City. In another English Premier League that was played on Saturday that we're going to be talking about, and there's a lot of backlash coming from different quarters each time I talk about some of these teams because people think you're being unfair to these teams. However, their results are actually giving me something to talk about. The results that they are getting week in, week out is why I talk about them and why, I continue to bash some of these teams. Arsenal played against Brentford at home. And, Arsenal had an impressive performance against Real Madrid in the Champions League, winning 3-0 at home. So going into this game, one would have expected them to at least get a positive result against the Brentford side. I understand it was a London derby. However, playing against a team like Brentford and also, going to put the pressure on Liverpool on the top of the table, one would have expected Arsenal to get 3 points. However, they were unable to get 3 points against a Brentford side. They played a 1-1 at home at Emirates. I don't know. I'm not being negative, but I don't see this Arsenal side winning the English Premier League anytime soon. Each time I talk about that, a lot of people get upset, especially my Arsenal fans who, they think that you're not being real. But let's look at it. Arteta took over Arsenal how many years back now? And every year, it's like the next season we're going to win it. The next season we're going to win it, and you're not winning it. So there's something that you're not doing right. It's either you're not getting the right players to play for the team, the right character in the team, or the leadership that you deserve to win the English Premier League. Winning the Premier League comes with a lot of maintaining the momentum, picking up points where we're supposed to drop points, making sure that you maintain the same form. So for me, Arsenal, for the past 20 years, they've been struggling to find a balance in the team, finding a balance in the leadership, finding the balance in the coaching aspect of the team, finding the balance in on feed and off feed for the team. That is very important, because when you have a coach that is very good, when you have players that are very good, players that are willing to give their all in order to win matches, then at the end of the day, you become the champion. However, Arsenal are not looking like a team that is going to become the champion of England anytime soon. However, they are still in the Champions League, as they won the first leg against the Real Madrid in the week. So going into this week, chances are that they are going to bend about to make sure they get positive result and qualify for the next stage of the Champions League. I say to a friend that this is Arsenal's chance to win the Champions League. Analyzing the teams that are left in the Champions League, and they have there's sort of a decent squad to play in the Champions League. So you can't write them off in the Champions League. However, in the league, they're doing badly. They are now 13 points behind Liverpool. They drew 1-1 against Brentford. There are a lot of teams in the English Premier League that are giving us good news. When it comes to soccer critics, they're giving us a lot of conversation, to have when it comes to their performances. And Chelsea is one of them. Chelsea, their performances this season is just, and I go back to some of the things that I've said on this show before about a coach. When you have a coach that doesn't have a positive mindset, a coach that cannot inspire the team to give their all to win and get positive results for him, for me, that coach don't deserve to be in a team like Chelsea. And that is what the Chelsea coach at the moment, I think, these are just my personal views, I feel like he is not the right person to coach Chelsea. Experience-wise, except you want Chelsea to just be a mid-table team that every year they're going to be competing just, to make sure they qualify for Europa or qualify for conference, then you can keep him there. But if you want to win trophies, with a culture that Abramovich had built at Chelsea since he took over in 2004, you should be able to understand that they build a culture of winning, and the Chelsea fans are now acculturated to that winning, and for you to bring in a coach who is now just aspiring to only start competing in 2 years or 3 years, for me, it's not the Chelsea that we know, because Chelsea cannot be playing against teams like Ipswich and dropping points. When they went away to Ipswich, they lost 2-0. At Stamford Bridge, one would have expected that at least at this critical stage of the league, where we have only 6 matches to go, every point counts, especially if we are aspiring to qualify for the Champions League next season. Chelsea were supposed to win against Ipswich side to be able to go back into the top 4. However, once again, the Chelsea that we know, it was a deja vu again for the Chelsea fans and for a lot of us football lovers, as Chelsea failed to get 3 points against Ipswich at Stamford Bridge. So if you're not getting points against teams like this, I doubt where you're going to be getting points. You can't get points against, the likes of Bournemouth. These are teams that know how to beat big teams. And then Ipswich, that is fighting to stay in the English Premier League. Chances are that they're not going to be able to stay in the English Premier League come next season. However, you cannot capitalize on these smaller teams in order to get positive results and accumulate points for yourself. So Chelsea's performance this season is nothing to write home about, and I can only feel for the fans, being used to winning, and now they're just comfortable with these average performance from this team. They managed a 2-2 at home against a team like Ipswich. It was an embarrassing performance, allowing Ipswich to take the lead, 2 goals lead at Stamford Bridge. I don't know what the coach is telling the players, but for me, I feel like this is not okay enough. Another team that is struggling in the English Premier League is Tottenham Hotspur. We don't know where these guys are getting it wrong. We don't know what is happening to the coach. We don't know if the motivation is not there anymore, if the coach is doing something that the players are not happy with. Remember, some of these players can give their all for you, but one mistake from you, they will mess you up. And I think that is exactly what is happening with Tottenham, because they still have the same squad. They still have the same players that they started the season with. So I don't know what is happening to Tottenham that is making them to play the way they are playing right now. I mean, playing against a team like Wolverhampton, and they could not even manage to get 3 points. They're not even a draw. They lost 4-2 against Wolverhampton. I mean, one would say, though, that now Wolverhampton are fighting to escape relegation. However, playing against a top team, you expect that top team also to fight back, to be able to get something out of any match that they are playing, especially when they are playing against smaller teams. But Tottenham, once again, proved to a lot of us that they're in the same category now with the likes of Manchester United and Chelsea, because you can't get excited when they get a positive result. The next few results will be negative. So their fans are the fans are becoming so comfortable with where they are at the moment. Hence, they're not protesting. So, it was a very embarrassing performance from the Tottenham Hotspur side. All right. In another match in the English Premier League, a team that is showing that they want to win it more. They want to win it more than anyone else. And that is Liverpool. Liverpool played against the West Ham. And believe you me, I always say it. When you have leaders in your team, when you have character, when you have players that understand what it entails to win, believe you me, you're going to be winning matches. You're going to be getting positive results. And that is exactly what is happening at Liverpool. Liverpool fans are so excited at the moment because their team is giving them what they are looking for, and I'm so happy for them because they deserve it. They have quality in their team. They have a coach that has believed so much in the players, and the players also bought into his ideas since he came and implemented some of these ideas, and they are flying. Liverpool are sitting comfortably 13 points on top of the table with only 6 matches left to play. If Liverpool can be able to win their next 2 matches, chances are that they will win the league early, and they will pray that Arsenal should also drop point there, and Liverpool are looking to become champions in the next 2 to 3 matches of the English Premier League. And with that now, I'm so happy for the likes of Mohamed Salah, the likes of Virgil van Dijk, because these guys are showing what it entails, what it means to play for a team like Liverpool, and what it means to be a quality player in a tough league like the English Premier League. Van Dijk, they scored West Ham equalized. However, this is what I say. And I always continue to say to other teams, when you are about to drop points as a team that wants to win, as a team that have the team cohesion, as a team that is way composed, in a match where you're supposed to draw, you win. In a match where you're supposed to lose, you draw. That is how you win the league, and that is how you win matches and get positive results. Liverpool got 3 points against West Ham because they did not give up, because that match was going into a draw, 1-1 into a draw, but Virgil van Dijk stepped up as the leader that he is, and he made sure that Liverpool got 3 points against West Ham, and they maintained their 13th point ahead of Arsenal on the top of the table. This is what I'm talking about. I'm so excited for the Liverpool side. There are a lot of conversations that we're having about the coach. Is he a good coach? Because he inherited a squad from the previous coach. However, you can inherit a squad that is very rich of players who are with, the qualities that you're looking for. However, if you don't know how to manage them, your man management skill come into play when it comes to players, because most of these players, you must keep them happy in order for them to give you positive result. It seems the Liverpool coach just know how to do that, and he's doing it wonderfully, and Liverpool are winning matches. And I'm so happy if Liverpool are going to win the league before May. They will win it. I strongly believe that they are going to win it. They won that game 2-1. Now, in the last game in the English Premier League that we're going to be talking about, you have to save the best for last, right? I'm saving the best because I want to take my time to be able to bash a team that I've been talking so much about, a team that I know that deserve more, but they're not getting it. A team that I know that is a big team, but is gradually becoming a small team. And that is Manchester United. Manchester United is a global brand. When it comes to, you can't call the first 6 teams in the world without mentioning Manchester United. However, Manchester United are struggling at the moment. Manchester United are just a shadow of themselves. Manchester United don't know. They're so directionless right now. They don't know where they're going to. The coach is failing to motivate the players to get positive results in the English Premier League. Manchester United accumulated the least points in the club's history in a long time. A team like Manchester United is languishing in the 14th place position on the table of the English Premier League. A team like Manchester United is losing home and away against Newcastle. These are teams that Manchester United used to get 3 points against, home and away. Manchester United used to beat all this team, but today, believe me, whenever they see Manchester United, they know they have seen a team that they're going to get free 3 points from. A team that is, just donating the points to other teams. And that is what the smaller teams are doing. Newcastle United demonstrated that they are going to capitalize on the loopholes in the Manchester United team. And they did exactly that by beating Manchester United 4-1. Can you beat that? 4-1 against the Manchester United side. A global brand. A club that is known for winning trophies. A club that is known, for intimidating young and smaller teams. However, the smaller teams are the ones now intimidating Manchester United. They are not afraid of playing Manchester United because they know for sure that when we go there, the 3 points are guaranteed. Manchester United went into Europa. Thank God they're still in Europa though. So chances are that they might win Europa and qualify for Champions League come next season. However, if they fail to qualify or win Europa League comes this season, Manchester United might not be able to taste any European football again. They will have to go at it again. The coach came in. Erik ten Hag was fired. This coach came in with high expectations, from a coach who won the Portuguese league with Sporting Lisbon, who was doing very well for Sporting Lisbon, coming into English team. A lot of people saw Jose Mourinho in him, the youngest Jose Mourinho version, when he came to Chelsea. People saw that in Amorim when he was coming to Manchester United. However, this coach, since he came, is worse than Erik ten Hag. He is worse, believe you me. They went to Lyon to play the Europa on Thursday. Onana made 2 mistakes that, they considered 2 goals that drew a match against Lyon. The coach made a bold decision of dropping him at home. Did not take him to Newcastle with him. And for me, that also demonstrated the disunity in that team. As a coach, your responsibility is to shield your players from error. Your responsibility as a leader is to make sure that you resolve your issues internally. You don't give the media things to talk about, because right now there were a lot of speculations here and there. The coach is fighting within the player by himself and the players. Onana is not good enough. So you expose that guy. If you had taken him to Newcastle and even leave him on the bench, it was going to be understandable. However, he did not even feature in the team at all. He was dropped at home. That is to further demonstrate that there is so much that is not going well. His man management skill, for me, I think is flawed, because if you can do that to a player like Onana, we understand the mistakes are coming here and there. But can you look at the entire Manchester United team? How many players can you actually analyze and say these players are qualified to play for Manchester United? I don't see anyone. Aside Fernandes, which I don't even think the Manchester United that we used to know, I don't even think any of these players will be able to even get minutes there. However, they're there now because things have changed. But why are you not managing them properly? Manchester United have a better squad than Nottingham Forest. To be sincere with you, they have a better squad. In terms of the market value of the players, Manchester United are way ahead of these guys. But they are not getting positive results. What that is because, number one, I say it all the time, and I want you guys to listen each time I talk about this thing. It's imperative that you have this if you want to win. Number one, leadership qualities. Have players that have the character to stand. When they are losing matches, they fight among themselves. To say, you made a mistake. You cost us this point. You don't do that. You have these kind of players. Have these kind of players in your team. Because if you don't have them, believe you me, you are just going to accept every result that you get. And that is what I see with the Manchester United players. They're not angry at the fact that they're dropping points. They're not angry at the fact that they're losing against Newcastle home and away. They're angry at the fact that people come to the theater of dreams and get 3 points and go home and get 3 points against a team like Manchester United. Do you know teams used to be afraid of going to Old Trafford because they know going there, you're not guaranteed to get a draw. Today, a lot of these smaller teams know that once they're playing against Manchester United, it's free for all. So they're sharing these points. How can Manchester United remain 14th on the table in the English Premier League? A team like Manchester United will be fighting. There's no even conversation. No one is having a conversation now about Manchester United qualifying for Champions League or Europa next season. The only conversation a lot of people are having right now is that Manchester United should win the Europa in order for them to qualify for the Champions League or, qualify for any European competition come next season. That shouldn't be Manchester United, we know. We know a Manchester United that is known for winning trophies. A Manchester United that is known for, building characters, building players, having leadership in their team. We don't see that now. So I don't know how Manchester United, I don't know where they're going to build from in this crazy transfer where you have average players going for, crazy sums of money. It will be difficult for you to get quality in that team. And sometimes when you're not playing well, it becomes also difficult to attract quality players to come to your club. So I just hope that this coach and the entire Manchester United management will look into what is happening at Manchester United and make sure that they get players and get positive results in the remainder of the game of the season in the 6 matches that are left. All right, ladies and gentlemen, these are all the matches we have for you in the English Premier League. After this short break, I'll be giving you just a brief highlights of some of the games that took place in some of the European leagues. Stay tuned. All right, taking a look at some of the matches that took place in some of the European leagues. In France, Monaco beat Marseille 3-0. In Germany, Bayern Munich played 2-2 against Borussia Dortmund, and Bayer Leverkusen played against the Union Berlin, and they drew that 1-0. In Italy, Juventus played against Lecce, and Juve won that game 2-1. Inter Milan, who are on top of the league, played against Cagliari, and they won the game 3-1. In Spain, we have Barcelona, who played against Leganes, and Barcelona won that game 1-0 away to make sure that they maintain their stay on top of the table, 4 points ahead of Real Madrid. Real Madrid traveled away to Alaves, and Real Madrid won the game 1-0, although their talisman, Kylian Mbappe, got a red card. However, Real Madrid maintained that a 1-0 lead as they won that game 1-0 to maintain their their pressure on Barcelona on top of the table. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of Soccer Highlights with myself, Amy Akura. Until I come your way again with a lot of Soccer Highlights, stay tuned.